Hey there, my name is Kayla and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a hot minute, and by hot minute I mean 10 months since I've done this, but I am back and I'm happy to be back. Between anxiety and moving into our first house, it's been a little bit stressful, but we're doing well, we're settled in, and I finally feel comfortable getting back on camera and talking books. So the reason for my video is I'm doing my first ever readathon in October, and I'm so excited. So this is my TBR announcement for the readathon. I'm going to talk about what the readathon is, what the rules are, what the prompts are, and my TBR for those prompts. So it is called the Hocus Pocus Readathon, and of course it's based off the movie Hocus Pocus. It's going to be taking place October 1st through the 13th, and everybody who's participating are divided up into 3 teams, and I'll get into those in just a second. Each team has its own strength, its own weakness, and also its own specific set of prompts to follow, and those prompts generate points for yourself that you contribute to your team, and I guess at the end of it, whichever team generates the most points overall wins. So the 3 teams are Team Sanderson Sisters, which is represented by the 3 characters Winifred, Sarah, and Mary Sanderson from the film. Then there's Team Undead, which is represented by the characters Billy Butcherson and Thackeray Binks. And lastly, Team Trick-or-Treaters, which is represented by the characters Max, Danny, and Allison. And I am on Team Undead. Clearly, zombies and like ghost kitties, hell yeah. So I'm going to read you the readathon blurb, and then I'm going to read the specific blurb for Team Undead, and then I'll get into everything else. It was on Halloween in 1693 that Winifred, Sarah, and Mary Sanderson stole the spirit of young Emily Binks. Taking their revenge, the town of Salem hanged the 3 witches. Before the Sanderson sisters took their last breath, their magic book had cast a curse that the sisters would return on All Hallows Eve on a full moon when a virgin lights the black flame candle. It's simple. Join a team. Fight for victory, survive the night. Enter if you dare. So for Team Undead, this is the blurb that they have come up for us. You thought having Winifred Sanderson poison you for having an affair with her sister was the worst thing that could happen to you. Then she sewed your mouth shut so you wouldn't share her secrets. She didn't stop there though. She brought you back from the dead to do her bidding. That's when you found out she had turned a boy into an undead cat. Don't forget to plot your revenge. Make sure you complete your prompts in order to get enough points to reach your goal. So the goal, the team goal, is help defeat the Sanderson sisters and enjoy your eternal rest. Requires 50 points. Each of the prompts has points associated to it, which total 50 if you complete them all. Each team has its own strength and weakness, and Team Undead's strength is you collect your fingers and find that they're holding on to another team's prompt. You can switch one prompt with another team's. And then the weakness is you're stuck in a cemetery. You must read a book in the exact same spot. So now I'm going to get into the prompts, and I'm going to show you what I've picked for each prompt. So the first one is Zombies, Graveyards, and Cats. Oh my! Read a book with a non-human main character for 5 points. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and use my strength of being able to swap with another team's prompt. So on Team Trick-or-Treaters, one of their prompts is Winifred has taken to the stage and is casting her spell. Cover your ears so you don't hear it. Listen to an audiobook. So I'm still going to fulfill the prompt that is for my team, but I'm going to take on that audiobook aspect. So the book that I've chosen for this prompt is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I have read this book before and I absolutely love it. It is told by 2 main characters, Kate and August. So Kate is a human female and August is an otherworldly type of creature, male. So this book takes place in a kind of ravaged city, and I would best be able to convey it as 2 warring factions who are trying to take control of this city. There are the humans, and then there are these crazy monsters, and they're pretty much like vampires, but there's 3 different types of creatures. The vampires obviously feed on blood, then there's another type that feeds on bones and like bone marrow, and then there's another type that feed on souls. It's a very interesting book, and that's what I'm going to be reading for the first prompt. I think it fits because August is not a human. That fulfills that requirement, but I will be doing the audiobook version of it for the first time actually. I've never read this audiobook before. So the next prompt for Team Undead is the cemetery is especially spooky on Halloween night. Read a spooky, atmospheric book for 5 points. And the book I've chosen for that prompt is The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I have not read this book. I think it was hyped a little bit last year around this time, and from what I've gathered, it's not very strong in characters or in plot, but it does have a very interesting atmospheric vibe for it. The story is basically about 3 witches who cast a curse on a town, and they die, and then however many years later, I think people start dying, and there's a couple characters that are trying to break this curse before more and more people die. So that's what I picked for this prompt. So the next prompt for Team Undead is Winifred Sanderson raises you from the dead. Read a book that can bring someone back from the grave for 5 points. And the book that I chose for that prompt is Reign of the Fallen by Sarah Glenn Marsh. And basically this book is about necromancy. Hell yeah. So the main character is a necromancer and her name is Odessa, and she is tasked with basically when the royal family passes away, she has to bring them back to life, but they have to be shrouded. Like none of their skin can be exposed or be seen. Otherwise, if that happens, they become shades. And a shade is basically like a bloodthirsty, vicious, violent version of, you know, like zombie. It's like a good zombie versus bad zombie, I guess. But I'm very excited to read it because hell yeah. I mean, I'm on Team Undead, so this is like right up my alley, right? I'm ready. I'm here for it. The next prompt is Catch Those Kids, but don't lose your head. Read a random book from your TBR list for 5 points. So I really wanted to keep in with the spirit of Halloween, of spooky, of fall, of horror in a sense. And I chose Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I have not read this book either. I have seen that there is a Netflix adaptation. There's a version of this on Netflix, and I've been trying so hard not to watch it because I wanted to read the book first. Basically, this is about a mom and her 2 young children. They live in a world where there are creatures roaming around, and if they perceive those creatures, they will go insane, they will become bloodthirsty, they will become vicious and violent, and basically kill anyone or anything around them. It's about them navigating in that world, and they have to be blindfolded and reach out to survivors and things like that. So I'm really intrigued by this one because it's all about not knowing what's out there, not knowing what is around you, and having to survive. Like that to me sounds very scary. I'm ready for this. The next prompt is Not All of the Undead Are Monsters. Read a book with paranormal or supernatural elements for 5 points. And for that I chose City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is a middle grade book, I think, and it follows Cassidy Blake. She is a young girl, and she and her family moved to Scotland, and so while she's there, she realizes she has this power to basically lift the veil between the living and the dead, and she can communicate with ghosts. So it's about her adventure and her whatever mystery or something she's trying to figure out, and learning more about her ability and figuring out what it all means. So I'm very excited to read it. I love Victoria Schwab. Obviously, I'm going to be reading this Savage Song, like I said, way earlier. I'm really excited to see how she writes for younger readers. And the last official book challenge is Help Your Team Stand Up to Winifred Sanderson. Read the group book for 10 points. There's actually 2 books that you can choose to read. You could do both or one or the other. The first one is Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel, and the other one is Serpent and Dove. Who is that by? Shelby Mahurin? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm bad at this. So I've chosen to just read Serpent and Dove. Basically, from what I understand from the synopsis, is that it's about 2 people. The girl is a witch, the guy is aligned with the church, and so somehow, some way they come together, they get married, and they have to like figure out if their love is worth their allegiance to either side. So I chose that one, and I'm kind of excited to read it, but I gotta go pick it up. The last actual challenge for the team is Celebrate Your Eternal Rest by watching Hocus Pocus for 15 points, which I will have no problem doing that. Thank you very much. So yeah, that is my TBR for the Hocus Pocus Readathon. Again, it is going to be October 1st through the 13th. I will link their Twitter information down below so that you can go check them out and figure out if this is something you want to do as well. I think there's a Twitter thread that they have pinned, and they have all the links and everything. They have the document with all the team prompts and everything on it. So let me know down below if you guys are also participating in the Hocus Pocus Readathon. I want to see what your guys' TBRs are. Hit me up on Twitter. I will be posting stuff on Twitter as the readathon happens, and I hope to see you there. It's spoopy time! If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the bell icon so you can get notified every time I upload. And it will not be a 10-month hiatus this time, I swear, because that was ridiculous and I'm sorry. Alright, bye! Oh, this is Justin Timberlake. This is Rickety Martin. And I don't know who that guy is, but if you have any spooky skeleton names for me, I'll take them into consideration.